sparkling, please. Welcome back, everybody. There's 3 aisles to choose from. You don't have to go down the center aisle.
Welcome to Comic-Con, everyone.
Yeah, because I believe it.
See you later.
Taco Bell Sprout?
Taco Bell Sprout.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, yeah, that is sweet.
I want that shirt up there. You tell them.
Is this like the medium print or the large print?
And then you look at
This is the medium print. Oh, that looks awesome.
Oh, the beginning of Batman.
Oh, that's even better.
come take a picture with Rifton. Can you send me a picture? Selfie. Yeah, you gonna post it?
They should be back on the map.
Good morning.
Or go, or trading card game, or video game, or
Well,
just want to see what's going on.
I'm seeing where the book for to give friend codes for Pokemon Go.
Well, right now the friend code zone is there.
Oh,
You're
sweet.
basically gonna put your code on there.
There you go. Blocker. Thank you.
A little bit about us. I want to know a little bit about all of you. So give me a big round of applause and let me know, are you a fan of the X-Men comic books? The X-Men movies? How about the cartoons like X-Men the Animated?
Yeah!
I love it. So this is going to be a tough question, guys. Is it, if you had to choose between X-Men the Animated Series, X-Men Evolution, and Wolverine and the X-Men, what is your choice? Khelan's nodding. He's got eyes.
This is gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris. This is gonna make me really unpopular, but I think Wolverine and the X-Men is the unsung hero of the animated series. It didn't go on. Like, it ended too soon. Yeah. Hey! Stop that. Adam, I know where you live. But I mean, they're all great, and I'm excited for X-Men '97 to be coming out soon. So, but Wolverine and the X-Men is my baby.
For those of you who don't know, X-Men the Animated Series is coming back! Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay. What makes X-Men important in this era? Why do you think now more than ever they're an important kind of team to idolize or admire? Anybody?
I don't want to monopolize the time, but I'll answer. Sorry. So, did anybody read X-Men Red a few years ago by Tom Taylor?
We got some of
Okay. All right, you and me. So there was a line, it was Jean Grey's team. She had a lot of great characters on there, and Jean had a line in there that says, we're going to weaponize the truth, and we're going to get rid of, like all the bad actors out there. And On my day job, I work in politics. I'm based in DC, and like that line stuck with me because I feel there's so much misinformation and disinformation out there. Whether it's about vaccines, it's about the election, it's about a variety of things. It's just very easy to put out like bad or false information. And Gene saying that just like kind of hit it home with me, and I even used that line at work. And I think X-Men, they're like a beacon of hope of like a better society when we've had a pretty crappy 2 years. We have. It's great that we can all be in person right now, but we got a long way to go till we get there. So reading the X-Men on a week-to-week basis like just gives me a little bit of hope.
I also think that X-Men are always like evolving, like superhero team. I don't know, like if you are reading right now the titles, you can see like how are they like questioning about the religion, like having a soul, like being immortal, being like having like a kind of different political way to rule their own land or co-op. So I think they're not like superhero team, and they're like evolving like every time, like even in the it's a cartoon, as a movie, or in a comic.
Anybody else?
Not to harken on if you guys happen to read newer comics, but I know everybody has a lot of nostalgia for the 90s X-Men, and I love the 90s X-Men too, but just like David said, the newer comics are always evolving, and so the newer teams now aren't always led by straight white men. So the newer comics are led more by women, more by people of color. There was even a book that 90% of the team was queer, so it's really relevant nowadays and speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a character and a story for everyone. And I am a child of the 90s X-Men, so I love that we are having this renaissance. And even if you're not up to date with today's comics, kind of like myself, I'm a little behind, you can still pick up a book and there's a story for everybody.
Awesome. Well, speaking of 90s X-Men, let's pull up Fabian's video.
Who's your favorite group of, who's your preferred group of young mutants? So like between New Mutants, Academy X, the Massachusetts Academy, Wolverine and the X-Men, Jean Grey Academy, that sort of thing. Who's your favorite group of the young ones?
So when the pandemic first started, we, on our podcast, Atmosphere, we did like an entire like Mutant Madness like, bracket, and we did like a younger mutants line. And one was New Mutants, the original run by Claremont. But my personal favorite is Wolverine and the X-Men.
I'm pretty sure I've made this clear, but Generation X for sure. Like, that's my jam.
I'm gonna go ahead and say mine is New Mutants, because again, just like the Giant Size era that I love, New Mutants was such a diverse group of people. You had someone from Ireland, you had an idiot from Kentucky, no offense to anyone from Kentucky, but there was an Afro-Brazilian, an indigenous person, someone from Vietnam. It was a great diverse team of young kids.
Me also New Mutants, because I really love Indiana.
Oh my gosh, me too. I was just about to say that. Insane these. Okay.
All right, well, I mean, Generation X is definitely my favorite young mutant team. And just as my moderator duties, I've got one more question because they want us to wrap it up. So let's have one more question from you, sir. Make it good.
Hi. First of all, for all of you to notice, that last guy was wearing a X-Men belt buckle. And my question is, this may sound silly, but if they ever bring Wolverine back into the live adaptation, do you think they'll bring him back in his old yellow outfit with a mask? I mean, it doesn't have to be as silly as it did. They could make alterations to make it cooler, like they did with Captain America's.
I would say they have to, because we wouldn't recognize him, and we don't want black leather again, so.
We want spandex.
No, I want spandex too.
I'm a brown and yellow fan myself, so I would love to see the brown outfit make a debut.
Yeah, I think they have learned like about the mistake that they have done before, like not using like uniforms, and now the things that they're doing with that they did. So I think that what I do expect now they are using like custom or what like that's possible.
Yeah, I really want the like comic book movies to embrace the source material. Let's not be ashamed of it.
1653.
That. 1650. Okay, pay attention. Look up. Look up.
That's something else in person, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we haven't had something like this at Comic-Con since Meat Sheep.
Yeah, right.
And that,
then they went under.
they went under. So.
Yeah. They're like.
So it's just plain.
Yeah, based on the lighting.
Doesn't it? Yeah. It's good to be at a Comic-Con again. Spending money and wasting time. Perfect. Couldn't be better.
Nile block.
Hey, I would invest in that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of investing in the Voltron Lego set, but I was like,
that's why he said that.
Yeah.
'Cause that was.
Need a preview. So, 10 o'clock. That's the one to go for.
Sorry.
You're good. I did the exact same thing.
All the wear and tear that it has is, yeah, like someone added it, and they, like the purple.
Thank you.
I'm the workout.
Yeah. I'll have
Okay, I'll come back.
sold out. Yeah, but I'll have it.
Okay, I'll come back tomorrow.
And your nose, say it with me. At the same time, we really appreciate you. Keep up the great work for the rest of it.
Let's go down here.
I'm thinking about getting this
Top decks it, it represents, his faith in the monster. When he fights against in the filler arc against Noah, he summons Blue Eyes as like his ace monster, as like to represent like his bond between both of us. What do you say?
If you go back by there,
I think
Miguel, sold out until tomorrow.
Let's go do a little walk.
It's a big one, huh?
Are these like wood? Yes, they are wood dice.
They're pretty fucked up.
What day space that change? Yeah, it has to be.
It's gonna be a busy.
We got some Comic-Con drink specials inside.
They're calling all
yeah?
the superheroes.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to see though.
Okay, I got you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's kind of hard.
No, he got it. He got it.
Thank you.
It would be golden.
Why do you want two swords?
That would be my job.
It's an unarmored spell.
And we have a great job.
King of the Hill, who's next? So we have Mail, and understand if he gets hit, it's just like hitting a watermelon in a
in a paper bag. There's really no protection. Well, I could have said squash, but if you're good enough and no one hits you, you don't have to worry about
You cheer them on, they fight a little harder when you're nice and loud.
Get off! Every fighter picks their helm, picks their body armor. Some fighters put a little more money into their helm. Those might be the fancier, prettier ones. Helms weigh anywhere from about 3.5 to 12, 15 pounds. The heavier the helm, the more shot you can take, but you have to carry that weight.
See the belts? They're white. It's basically like the black belt. That's the goats. Okay. If you're wearing a white belt, you're a goat. If you're wearing a red belt, you're a wannabe goat. These are squire belts. And the white belts are the knights.
If you want to know what it feels like to get hit, just take a baseball bat and hit yourself in the ribs. We will break bones if you're not wearing armor in those spots.
Oh, nice trick.
Everybody has to get on the field and pass an inspection.
Yes, to a chant. His name's Duncan. Duncan.
Duncan! 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 Duncan!
Go big dog.
Oh, you died! What? Oh, fuck! Those you don't know, this is Duncan the Squire. This is Sir Trick the Knight.
Others are being good to you, and please be good to others by wearing your mask over both your mouth and your nose at the same time. Thank you.
I know, he and I are going to be on a battle, 3:30. I'll be away from you.
Not a way to look at it.
Different. This book is a collection of this series of prints, which are like record album covers, and it's like the front in a weird.
I'll be shaking it. It's okay.
Weird H. Cool. Now it's correct.
Pen.
And the pen.
I want a pen. Oh my god! Here, take my own.
You need cash card?
I can just put that one there. It's like which need to be as the first.
Two for $8.
Okay, we're right about to take the picture.
Perdón.
I'm just going to scan your badge, okay? Got it, thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing, I was just wanting to see if they wanted it.
Are you good with that one, or do you like? You like
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's fairly new, but like Power Rangers, definitely something you want to check out. Yeah, if you're interested, actually,
I think right now it's going to be Sylvie, and she's going to be green and silver.
I get why you would want that because
yeah,
it's Loki.
yeah, but
And if you remember, I think it's in one of the early episodes of season 1 of Mandalorian, he ate a frog, he just downed it, right? And he really enjoyed it and downed it. The second time he encountered a frog, that frog looked a little bit different. So, you know, it's kind of hard to tell from that picture, but the frog has a lot of bright coloration on its body. And that bright signaling is like a way to communicate with the predator that you're poisonous. So this frog in Mandalorian is poisonous, and in the show, Grogu is kind of teased by the kids when he kind of half swallows the frog, but you know he would have downed it. He wasn't worried about you know, what the other kids thought of him. He spit it out because it's poisonous, so like as an ecologist and looking at that patterning. And in real life, you see these really amazing bright colors on these frogs, and that's a signal that they're poisonous. So these tropical species that live in South America, they have these bright colors, and that warns them that they're poisonous. And so you kind of see that analogous pattern going on with the Mandalorian and Grogu. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. The second thing that tells you kind of how the whether the predator or prey is the shape, or just the orientation of the pupils. Usually, prey have horizontal pupils, which allows them to put the skin of eyes more. Whereas a predator species will have more vertical pupils, kind of like a cat, like cat-like pupils. And that allows them to focus light better and also really kind of pinpoint where their prey is and only focus on that.
So if Grogu is a predator, I mean, that also means Yoda is a predator, right? Can we assume that he moved to that swamp planet because it's full of delicious grass? Or we've always wondered.
Yeah, when Luke was eating those like sticks, looked like little fish sticks, right? You know, from his metal box, it was like the rations that the military gave him, that the rebellion gave him. He really wanted to eat some fresh food, and so like I think Yoda was willing to like take him home and feed him, and you know, they were eating some kind of local fauna probably that was boiling in that pot. Yeah.
Maybe fauna like.
Does show in Canadian, so just to show you the
okay.
Yeah, but there's no additional fees or stuff like that. I use my own US credit card just to test.
Total is with tax $64.65.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, top. I'm gonna insert.
Paramount 23, and Michael Bay's making the next two. I know. I will tell you this story. I hope we're not being, but I asked Kevin, Kevin Eastman, we were having lunch a few years ago, what'd you think of the turtles that Michael Bay came up with? And he said, not much. When I get interviewed, they ask me, I did a French TV thing, and she said, Bubby, what do you think of Michael Bay's turtles? And I said, not much. And he goes to Paramount to meet Michael, and Michael asked him what he thought, and Kevin said, why did you change them? And Michael Bay says, because I'm Michael Bay and I can. And to that, Kevin said, well, you're also the biggest a-hole I have ever met. And he left. He walked out of the meeting and left. Good for him, because I don't think, and you guys will do a hand thing, and I'm not saying we're Superman, we're not Stan Lee, but I don't, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, over the years, maybe a slight subtle change, if you saw the earlier comic books, but they're still pretty much the same. How do you take the turtles and morph them into this transformer thing with the Zika virus head? The head's the size of the water of a cantaloupe, or a cantaloupe. And do you agree? How many people like the new turtles? Raise your hand, be honest. How many like our turtles? Yeah. Okay. So I've always found my first instinct, and this was the first instinct right here. Every fiber in my body said, this has been on TV. We have an audience. This is going to be big. So anyway, Kim and I, Dawson, my partner, directed Gallagher. Some of you might remember Gallagher, the comedian, Smash the Watermelons. He directed his Showtime specials. And Gallagher's manager, Gary Proper, they were a twosome. And they always, whenever he went to play a gig, they went to comic book stores. Okay? And they were in Detroit and found the first graphic, which I didn't bring, Peter and Kevin's first graphic comic book, the novel. It was about this thick. You've seen it before. And they got a hold of him, made a deal, let us try to make it up into a movie or set it up, and they said, okay, you got a year. Now, if I remember right, they had 66 licenses at that time. Okay? Peter and Kevin. Then this guy, Mark, came in and put them on the map. And they ended up, by the time the movie came out, they went to hundreds and hundreds of, licensing, pajamas, you name it, shoes, hats, masks. It's endless. Some of these ball players, Justin Turner of the Dodgers told me when he first met me, he says, dude, I still have my Ninja Turtle PJs, but nobody knows that I still have those. I said, don't get rid of them. Don't throw that stuff away. So anyway, I was writing, I met a guy at a lunch. I was doing some stand-up, and he was at my table, sat down, and he said, geez, you're really good at that. Do you write? And I said, sure. I said, I write for Different Strokes and Jeffersons and these shows and do the warm-up. And he said, do you have any movie ideas? I said, yeah. So I went in, pitched a movie, he bought it, I started writing. This is Golden Harvest. How many know who Golden Harvest is? Golden Harvest is out of Hong Kong, and they did the Bruce Lee, their claim to fame was Bruce Lee and then the Jackie Chan movies. So I get a call from Kim Dawson, the guy who was directed Gallagher stuff, and we were buddies, and he also directed The Mouseketeers, the one with Timberlake and that last wave. And Kim directed those shows, and he had me do a Disney show for him with Ron Lucas, a great ventriloquist. So he knew I was writing, and I was working for Golden Harvest, and he called me one day. He said, Bobby, he lived in Newport, I lived in Long Beach. He said, meet me at the In-N-Out Burger on Valley View. There should be a plaque there. So we meet on the grassy knoll, and he hands me a thing. There's some young people, there's a thing that used to be called a VHS. This is it. This is what you used to get your stuff. Now it's on stuff like this, and probably small size of a mirror. So he brings me this, says it's on TV, I look at it. He said, you've got the company that can do this, because it's put martial arts guys in these costumes, and then you're going to loop the voices. Okay? Sure. So I go to Tom Gray, my boss, and this went on for about 3 months. And I go to Tom, and I said, there's this thing, the Ninja Turtles, you go, hers. Don't bother me with the Pigeon Ninja Turtle crap. Write the movie I'm paying you for. I'm not interested. And this went on, and I went all over Hollywood pitching this as a movie, and was literally laughed out of some pitch meetings. A couple of very famous people in the business, writer-directors, called my agent and said, "Who's the stoner that came in with the turtle thing?" And my agent said, "I don't know about the pot, but the turtles are real, are on TV." And so, most of you were back then, that was your thing. There wasn't an Xbox, a PlayStation, there wasn't the cell phone, the iPad. You watched TV, right? And you were watching the turtles, thank God. Yes! Yeah! So what happened was, you were building an audience for us. Now, Tom Gray, my boss, one night, we went and had a drink after work, and I dawned on me, he had a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old at home. And I said, when you go home, ask your kids about the turtles. By the time I got back to Long Beach, I had what was then called a recorder call. It was an answer machine. Really hated myself. Came over on the Santa Maria. Anyway, so I get home and I have a message from Herbs Babes. Those two words, nicknamed Herbs Babes, means I close the deal. Herbs Babes, get your buddy, meet me for breakfast in the morning. Let's talk. Because he went home to his kids and they said, "Dad, it's like, what's happening?" Because the parents didn't know, they're working. The kids, you guys were at home watching TV. And there wasn't pajamas yet either. Okay? So another person leaving already. I'm counting 2 more leaving. 3 more leaving. I'm clearing the room. So anyway, never! You'll get in here anytime. So anyway, Kim brings in this with In-N-Out Burger. I take it and I ran with him for like 3 months. And finally, because I met Tom that night and Kim and I went and had breakfast with him, Tom listened to the whole pitch and he started to slide out of the booth after breakfast. He said, "Now," and Kim says, "There is an ancillary market. Huge market. So that's money." Tom slides in, "Tell me about the ancillary market." Well, the licensing would be through the roof. So, probably 2 days later, Tom called me and said, "Herb's pack a suitcase, we're going to Northampton, Mass." We went to talk Peter and Kevin into letting us make this into a movie. Then I came back and he said, "Pack a trunk, you're going back to Northampton." Because Peter and Kevin have to sign off on the story for the movie, which took a little bit of time, more than I thought it would take. Because they didn't always agree on the story that I presented. And I oftentimes wonder how they ever got a comic book done, but they're both brilliant. They're awesome. They are really the force, the mothership behind all of this. We're just, kind of a little saber plane, whatever you want to call it, flying around.
thank you for attending Comic-Con Special Edition. We hope all of you had a wonderful time, and we hope to see you back here in July. Thanks for coming.